So I was checking myself out.
No, it's because I wanted to see this. I'm not turning around.
That's the reason I said you too.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody have a nice holiday?
Hey, can you tell him?
Yep.
I'm so obsessed with my dog.
Oh my
We had a barbecue on Christmas Day.
Yes.
Telling them.
Degrees. So my grandkids like going to force said, it's gonna be over 70
One
degrees.
of them
We
is the
can't.
dog.
do
Really?
something
Part
inside.
of their little.
So we had a barbecue outside.
Sunburn.
We were calling it the
Their
Australian
little
Christmas
wolf.
Day, yeah.
Felt so weird.
Dog park stuff.
But you know, I used to work at, you know that bar, Flat
It's a bit
River?
like me, we have stickers of
There's
Ducky. I was like,
Yeah. There was
years.
one year, I got in big trouble, I was making, and Christmas, the day after Christmas, it was like, Christmas was warm, and then the day after it was like 76 degrees or something. And the owner was so mad, he's like, none of you thought to come in? And I was like, dude, that was celebrating Christmas. So, happened before.
I think we've got it.
We do.
All right, sounds good. Go ahead and take it away. Start with the call to order. First up is roll call. Okay, I'll start. We can go clockwise. Pat Fitzgerald, member present.
Oh, Melon Glenn, staff liaison present.
Lana Garcia, member present.
Tanya Faust, alternate, present.
Bruce Raymond, member, present.
Rick Emil Heights, member present.
Elizabeth Shaw, member present.
Online.
Hillary Kerwin, member present.
And
Rick Summerson, member of the community.
sounds good. Welcome.
Yes.
Also, right on time. Okay, sounds good. We have our guest here. Thank you.
You said Rick Summers?
Summerson, SOMERSON.
Summerson. Welcome, Rick. Okay, with that, we can go ahead and move on to approval of last meeting's minutes. Before that, any comments, questions, edits? I know we were caught in the middle of a conversation that we're going to finish this month. But if not, we'll go ahead and I'll open the floor for approval of last meeting's minutes.
Motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
Any second?
Seconded.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Perfect. Okay. So we can start off with our public forum segments. Public.
Just here to observe.
You're just
Okay.
observing?
No comments.
Very well.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's how we like it.
Let's get it.
Well, if you do, you always got to spot every meeting to voice your opinion. Okay, next up.
So this was just the year in review that wasn't done last time because we had a long meeting and I was like, y'all should be excited for the celebration, not being like, let's get this over with so I can go to bed. So I just want to go over this really quick because everything you all did in 2025 was just so cool. And I won't read everything verbatim, that would be a lot, but we started the year with community climate resiliency. We even got some members from those workshops, which was really great. Mike Chisholm walked us through kind of like a Why Not Inglewood brainstorming session to kind of get the juices flowing of what sustainability could look like. Pat became our chair, Tracy became our vice chair. Although Tracy's now employed with the city, which we love. We love how fast things can change. We got presentations from so many awesome people, nonprofit Go Electric Colorado, from resident and super incredible human Chef Andrew on induction stoves, which as a reminder, we still have that induction stove rental program at the library if anyone's interested. We created another subcommittee, the Coloradscape subcommittee. You all did. A little bias in that corner, I hear. You all wrote a letter of support for the South Metro Waste Diversion Plan that went to council, which was adopted. You had presentations from a bunch of different departments like utilities, parks, And then Logan became our chair in September. We had Bellevue Park discussion kind of come through with Elizabeth, Rick, and Logan all serving in the Parks Bond Oversight Committee. And then we got a little break in November, which I'm sure we all needed. And then December, we started the really exciting task of strat planning for the next 5 years. And then if we're doing like a mini Spotify Wrapped kind of for the year in review, you had 12 total meetings. It was so conservative of saying 15 hours. I'm assuming it was way more. Subcommittees met 14 times. You had a presentation to council, again, 1 letter of support, a new subcommittee, plus the bond oversight. And you all just did like a lot of work. Every time I do the review, I'm like, holy moly, that is a lot. So congrats, everybody. Woo, woo, woo.
Thanks.
And for the wrap up, it's Christine's last meeting this
Oh,
meeting.
come
She's
on.
leaving all the incredible work and then saying, I trust you all to go forth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll miss you guys, but I'm at the end of my term. We'll see you in the future.
I'll keep giving Dr. Cog updates though, no worries, although it won't be as eloquent as Christine's updates.
But you can unofficially send me any energy related questions, energy or energy efficiency or heat pump or anything like
He can now email a member and you in one email. It won't be breaking aura.
that.
But after this meeting.
Oh, I'll miss you.
Thank you, likewise. Weird.
Yeah, it's gonna feel weird.
You're like a fixture, you know?
Oh, thank you.
That is how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's allowed, but it doesn't feel right.
An energy efficient fixture, hopefully.
So yeah, that's our year in review, which I'm glad we waited because I think everyone's a lot more happy to hear it than last time.
All right, next up, any standing community subcommittee projects? I'll speak for Logan on communications. We don't have any updates yet. I don't know if we meet either later this month or next month. Might be next month, but yeah, nothing else to update on communications.
So I'll reach out to Logan too. I might recommend for you all to skip the next magazine if you all decide to. We have a lot of really exciting stuff coming for the next one. Our EV charger should be live after the end of May, so for the next one. So that'll be a big piece.
Cool.
And we're hiring a building electrification specialist by that time, fingers crossed. So there's just like big sustainability stuff that might go in there. The subcommittee can always recommend stuff that they want to see, but
Fine by us.
Did you guys present that whole list of topics? Do you remember that one
Mhm.
last time? Did you guys present that?
I'm assuming Logan sent that along.
there was a pretty from my recollection, there was a pretty comprehensive list of
It was.
things.
He said he was sending it along, they choose, so I assume so.
Yep, that's all we got. How about Colorado Redscape?
Yes. If you were late onto your email, you may have seen what Mel sent out. It was the meeting notes from our last meeting. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at them, take a look. But we had a very comprehensive meeting on the 15th, which was following the last meeting of the Sustainability Commission. So we were able to really focus, as you may recall from the discussion, and Elizabeth brought this up at the last meeting, is that we have been requested by council to be a little bit more detailed in terms of the processes that we're looking at to certify. And so our focus at the last meeting was to take a look at process, try to come up with a bullet point approach to how we would evaluate an applicant for the program. And so that was pretty much what we did. Essentially, we started out by kind of sifting through some of the signage ideas. Fortunately, the Communications Committee has at this point offered to cover the cost of up to 100 signs for us. We nailed down the design of the sign a little bit more so that we understood what we wanted to have in terms of the actual form of the sign, being a metal sign, being a single post sign, and being approximately 15 by 13 inches, as you can see on the overview there. We have officially, because the name of the program has bounced around a little bit, we officially came up with Coloradoscape Yard Certification Program. We're getting away from lawn. Lawn implies that you're swapping out a lawn. It's not necessarily that. It could be that you've got rocks. It could be that you have weeds, but whatever it is that we are hoping that you are looking at doing a yard change there. The next part I won't go through in detail, but essentially we talked about what each of the different subgroups within our subcommittee is going to be looking at. Some are going to be focused on the actual website development. Elizabeth's taking point on a lot of that. And then we're integrating with Dana, because Dana's going to bring in sources and references that we're going to be able to utilize for people to get information, to be able to understand better what they need to do in order to prepare themselves for the program. My R on this is going to be a video, and heck, I may even call upon you guys for some of that. So we're going to put together some kind of intro video on it. The big thrust was talking about evaluation. What we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with a system of evaluation whereby an application comes in, it gets vetted to make sure it's complete, and then from that point it gets assigned, basically, I think we called it a owner. The owner is some member of the subcommittee or some member of the eventual group that takes point on running through with that person. So they're their contact person if they have any questions. They're the person who goes back for clarifications on it. They're the person who makes sure that the timeline is being met that they put in for completing it. And they're ultimately the one who will sit down with them and make sure that they are certified. So it's kind of a partner within the subgroup that's going to take that role. So we're excited about that. That's a great idea. It means that we all don't have to be, or there isn't one person who's going to be doing it all. And so everybody kind of parses out some of that responsibility. So that's a big piece of that.
But it makes it a one-on-one relationship versus a one-to-many,
Exactly.
right? Or a one-to-many, whatever, so.
Right.
That's
In
all
other
like
words,
it's-
if they have questions, they know who to contact. And so, we don't see at least initially, probably nobody having more than 2 or 3 of these people to take responsibility with, but it spreads out that responsibility.
And do you see assigning that within the subcommittee specifically, or to the Sustainability Commission as well?
Well, at this point, it's the subcommittee. I
Okay.
think we're going to see, Patrick, how this plays out.
How many people?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's 2 bad news scenarios. One is nobody applies, and the other is too many people apply. So we're going to hopefully find some place in the middle. We will definitely come back to the commission if we feel that we're overwhelmed by this, that we feel that we're not serving those people as well as we want to serve them.
Yep.
So that's a big piece. Thank you for the question. So the other part is then that we're going to be looking at some kind of scoring rubric, some way of being able to organize this so that they did this, they did this, they did this. They're at this point in the stage. There's a timeline that we're putting in place to kind of help them move forward. We don't want them to get stalled on it. We want them to feel success. That's a big part of this. So that's kind of the gist of where we're heading with the entire program at this point. We have another meeting this coming Monday. We're going to be working specifically on some of those areas. I've asked everybody who has a lead in one of those areas to kind of come with a general plan, what they're going to do, and that way we're moving forward. The piece with council is still very vague right now. We're hoping that we can get in front of council at a study session, possibly in early March, to be able to answer their questions and get a final sort of authorization to move forward. Without it, we really can't work anymore with communications, and that's been our challenge right now.
Yeah, I forget, in March though, that's pre the special election, correct?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it'll be the existing council.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. That's it. Thank you. Any questions?
I want you to know I'm also waiting on more information on that too, so it's not like I
Okay.
haven't realized anything.
Well, I know that it was kicked up to Tim was out of town, he kicked it over to
And Tim just
Sean.
got back today.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I know they were trying to get it onto an agenda sooner than this, but I'm not holding out for that. That's part of the reason I postponed the last meeting. I just didn't want to keep moving forward without knowing what their goal was, so we're working
I
toward.
think we'll have more of an answer by the end of this week.
Good,
Yeah, which I'll let you know ASAP, obviously.
okay, thank you.
This looks all really good and well organized and thought out, so thanks
Thank
for
you.
doing this. Where are you on actually having like a list of approved plants? Where are you in terms of that? I don't remember. Like a list of improved plants, I would imagine, if they're replacing the yard with.
Oh, a list of plants are
Oh,
okay.
plants, I think you're saying
Plants.
plants.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
sorry.
plans too.
Yeah, I was like,
What's
plants.
your list of plans?
That's actually falling under Nana
Okay.
and that group to be able to come up, because she has the touch on what those are, and there are already many plants that are an approved Colorado native plant that would be available to do that. We are looking toward variety. We don't want somebody to come in and say they're going to plant all the same thing in space. That's not creating that sort of environment that we're looking for. But once that is done, it will be part of that, and it will be on the website for people to review, and we'll have people to answer questions for them, things like that. Yeah, good question, thank you. Okay.
Fantastic. Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, we can keep moving.
The next one is the Dr. Cog. Christine, is there anything you want to start with?
Day after tomorrow is the next meeting where all the local government staff who are involved meet together as a group, so there's a quarterly, and there are 59 some jurisdictions in Dr. Cog, so most of those will send 1 or 2 staff members to discuss plans on how the program is going, and one big focus of the meeting will be local governments deciding which policy working group they would like to be in, because a major goal of the Building Policy Collaborative is to agree on policies that all of the communities or many can do together, so that each single community isn't sticking their neck out or getting all of the brunt of all of the work or pushback or whatever. So working together as a group. And those working groups are one that is working on benchmarking and building performance standards, which helps larger commercial and multifamily buildings. Another is on residential energy transparency, and that is saying that when you buy a house, you should be able to know when you're considering it, is it how much energy it uses, a lot or a little? You're gonna have to put a lot of work into it, or your bill's gonna be really high or not. And so you wanna actually have a sense of that before you buy a house. And a third group working on energy code implementation. And those are the rules for how you build new homes and buildings, and a little bit of renovations. And so making sure that those codes are understandable and enforced, and making some plans for future codes there. And so local government staff, I believe, there might be a 4th one that I'm forgetting, but they'll decide which of those groups they want to be in and pursue and give input on.
That's why I said you won't get as eloquent once for me when she's gone.
The program, the whole Dr. Cog program, I think I mentioned is being rebranded Power Ahead Colorado. And so they have ad buys and maybe some signs and websites going live now-ish, mid-January. So keep your eyes out for that. And then that goes along with some more financial rebates or incentives for heat pumps and heat pump water heaters, et cetera, added to those that we already have from Excel and the state. And some workforce training and building up our workforce to install these systems correctly. Oh, and what else?
The only thing I have internally on our side is we are biting at the bit, ready to go. We have to wait for Dr. Cog though to send us a contract for us to sign before we can do any work. So we're just in a really awesome waiting period. But we're trying to get all the like unfun background stuff done that we can. So like the city of Sheridan and Englewood, we're working on what our intergovernmental agreement will look like for the building electrification specialist, because we can chisel away at that. But no like RFPs or contracts or anything can get moving without that being signed. So yeah, we're excited to get going.
Do you have any idea when the funds are coming?
I have no
Yeah.
idea. And it's kind of interesting because on the Dr. Cog side, they had us fill out a timeline of like when we could get things accomplished, and they helped us fill it out. And there are some things that have like an end of January completion date, but we don't have the contract, so there's just, that won't be fulfilled, which is fine. But
Yeah.
I was like, we have no contract to even go off of. Hopefully sooner than later. All right, we good to move to the next one? So this is what I'm assuming will be the biggest chunk of tonight. And before I stay silent, just a little bit of background. So this is just a continuation of last time of the proposed strat plan recommendations for the commission. Some tentative dates that I've heard for city council is there's going to be a first study session at or around February 16th, a second one in March to go over kind of those final ones, and then a vote on March 16th. So with those tentative dates, how I look at those is if you all want, you can do another like really in-depth brainstorming one this meeting, create your memo or like polished one by next one to make it into that February 16th one. If you all think you're ready to go and want it to be done with a memo today, you can totally do that. It's whatever you all decide, but that memo and my recommendation should really be done by the next one at the 16th. I mean, at the February meeting. And then the last.
Wait, sorry, the next meeting that we have is February 16th.
No, the next one I think is like February 11th, February 10th.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
February 10th, yeah. So, it would be a little bit before, but again, that's the first study session that they talk about things, and then March 2nd is their second study session on it because the strat plan is such a big topic. So by that, you could get it into that one and the second one. But if you all want this one and to get it into that final one in March, you can do that, but.
To meet the February 16th meeting time, usually they need their packet. What a
By
week ahead.
yeah, they need it a little bit before. Something that could be done that I've seen in the past is like emailing the memo to council, so it won't be in the packet, but they'll all have it. And then I could also talk with Tim, again, he just got back. Talk with Tim and the other folks working on the strat plan to see if they know that the memo from Sustainability Commission is coming, and it's just one memo to have a mini placeholder in the submission and then add it in before it gets published.
So the memo is what? What would we be doing?
So I should have done an example of what the commission has done in the past. Typically, how it's been done, and Christina's been there for a few of these, is the commission will take 1 to 2 meetings to do a brain dump of everything they would like to see in the strategic plan. You all go through it and decide which ones you all don't have to agree on everything, but that final memo you all majority have to agree on. So however you come to that consensus is up to the group itself. And then it's just a memo saying what you all think. Something that we've done in the past, which the commission wanted, was we pull up a memo, we do like rough wording of it, and then I just put it into like a legible form and you all approve it at the next one to like ease up time's sake.
Does that work?
Oh, yeah.
And this is based on what we discussed last meeting?
You can add to it, you can change it, so that was just a brainstorm from last one, but this one would just be a furthering of that discussion of like, what all are you hoping to see in that updated plan? And then one thing I wanted to add in here, because I find it really important, is our most recent 2021 greenhouse gas inventory. And I only bring this up because I think waste is so important. But I think sometimes the sustainability realm will get really in the waste realm when it's really transportation and building that are like the biggest greenhouse gas emitters. So we just wanted to put that up there as a visual. And then the last thing I'll say is something that I have been directed is that in the strategic plan, council doesn't really want to see projects that are already listed in other plans to be duplicative. So that's why I had that comprehensive list of like, we already have a lot of projects that are active in other plans. But if commission wants to recommend, like, you all are the residents, you are all the spokespeople for the commission. If you're like, we don't care, we want to recommend it anyways, go for it. But I'm just telling you the direction that staff was given.
So if they're already in the plan, are they going to stay in the plan? Or would we also be recommending like, make sure you keep this?
So that's a really great question. So the ones that will definitely stay in plan are like South Metro Waste Diversion Plan. They adopted this one. So this is an adopted plan. One that is not adopted though, so like low income energy efficiency outreach, I put plan, I always do that. It's a strategy. There was no adoption for that. And then the community climate resiliency framework, that wasn't adopted, that was just presented on. But they are active projects because they were presented to council and there was no council member for those projects being like, we don't want this, we want to see it removed. Which gives staff like, okay, they find that okay, we can move forward.
Okay.
Didn't we need paper down there? We got lots of it.
We were actually just having a bunch.
I need one if you want to go.
Let's just move them down there. You can kind of fish through what you.
Try to do it where packs are together. So this one looks like a pack here. Then this looks like a full pack here.
Green one is the one.
So how would you all like to continue the brainstorm? I can pull up your past notes, I can pull up this chart, we can add to it, like whatever is helpful for you all. Sounds great to me.
What's the most like organized, if that makes sense? Like the list, something that you would go down or?
This is totally just my opinion, that chart that I made for the recommendations, if I just add to that by category so you all can see,
Okay.
instead of doing a long running list.
Can we run through some of yours and kind of just
Yeah, you can use
do
this time
that?
help.
Because
Ever
there were
you
a
see
couple
fit.
of changes that I noticed on those that I wouldn't recommend.
Mm-hmm. Let me pull it up.
The staff ones?
The staff ones.
So it seems like a lot of what we talked about last time was already in the plan.
It's a decent chunk, I would say,
Yeah.
was already there, which is a good thing, right? I mean, that it's already.
So it seems like we need to go through and pull out what is not already in there. Perhaps. Yes.
Sorry, so what is already in the plan versus?
So we have, sorry, it can be a lot. So
So we used to have,
there was one document that had in the beginning, it had the sustainability division. Aiden and I went through and put what our recommendations
okay,
are gonna be. So I started with the goal areas. We're gonna try and make some changes or suggest some changes. One of them, and actually let me pull this up on the screen
I see. Follow
because that'll be helpful for folks.
Do you, Patrick?
up. These are our goals, and then moving from there on, and what they apply to.
Hillary, I'm pulling it
I
up,
like
I
how you drew a
promise.
correlation into the brainstorm.
Okay, so let me walk through how to read this. So with an updated strategic plan, updating goals and everything and a definition this would be a good time to do it. So for what we're recommending as staff is to add back in air quality as a goal, but make it air quality and emissions with a new definition of protect community health by reducing air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions and educating the community on certain exposure risks and protective actions. One thing, one of the reasonings given for air quality getting pulled last time was some council members felt like they had no control over the quality of the air. But a big piece of the air quality piece is that education and preventative action for it. So that's why I added that one in there. And if you want, I can run through all of these and pause and we can do an open one, or I can do one by one, whatever you all prefer.
Can you highlight the ones that you made changes on?
Yeah.
So that we
Yeah.
can focus on the ones that you felt needed to be pivoted.
Yes, so the first one is new and added, so that one. The second one, energy and built environment. This is just the combining of the two. So we did this in Sheridan and you see them in a lot of other communities of combining very like categories. And a good example is like when we have the E3 program, that's built environment and that's energy. It's been flip-flop between the two goals. It's so much cleaner to just have like categories together. So putting that as one goal with a definition of make buildings, infrastructure, and energy more efficient, sustainable, and climate ready. Same thing with water and natural environment. They're so similar, just bunching them together instead of having them to be two different goals. And this definition would be changed to protect and enhance water resources and natural systems through integrated stewardship, conservation, and resilience programs, policies, and practices. Sustainable business and climate action, no changes there. The second to last change is waste diversion, just changing from waste and recycling, and changing the definition to advance a circular materials system by prioritizing waste reduction, reuse, recycling, and composting. And then there is one that Sustainability Division is going to recommend changing that isn't in sustainability, but it's in the transportation sector. Originally, it's called clean and connected transportation. I personally hate when people use the term clean. I hate when they use clean eating, clean transportation, because clean is so subjective, and that doesn't really give a great picture. So the recommendation is low to no emission transportation and changing that definition to support access to efficient low to no emission transportation options and practical education. So goals, that's what Sustainability Division is going to recommend.
Mel, didn't we have water taken away and moved under the water board? Wasn't that what?
The goal area?
Is this still something which because I know when we were talking about water usage and metering and stuff like that, it seemed to me that you said something about that water was going to take the point on that. Is that?
So water is still in the sustainability section.
Okay.
The only one that got taken away is air quality, and then when I first started 4 years ago, food security used to be in the sustainability plan, and they moved that to community well-being. I want to say, but water never got moved.
Okay. All right. That was...
So I have just a comment on the very first one, the air quality.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was removed last time because they didn't feel like they had an impact on it. I was wondering more emphasis should be on the education than what is stated there. Does that make sense?
Instead of reducing air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions, having it just be education.
Or list it first.
Go ahead.
Or list it first.
Yeah, I was just wondering if education should somehow be emphasized more so that it's not automatically deleted because we're Little Inglewood and we can't do anything.
I will say the last goal straight up just said air quality education, and it still was
Really?
removed.
Oh.
Yes.
So much for that.
Yeah.
I like how it is, but I was wondering about putting indoor and outdoor somewhere in there because we all do have a lot of impact on our own indoor air quality.
So maybe reducing indoor and outdoor air quality? I mean, air pollution.
Yeah.
Yeah, less air.
Improving,
Yeah.
improving indoor and outdoor air quality.
By improving?
Yeah, that sounds nice.
About improving both indoor and outdoor, both.
And did you also, do you want education at the beginning?
It seems to flow better how it is because you're educating them about it.
I'm in agreement. I think if they kicked it last time and it was listed first, like it's whatever, I think it's fine with leaving it as it is. Usually like you list the things in the order of importance or whatever, like.
I think the one thing that the definition didn't have last time was protect community health, which I think is such a strong thing to put there for air quality and emissions.
And you added exposure risks and protective actions. That speaks loudly, I think.
I have a general question. When they're reading through this, is it just the council or is there somebody to like answer questions about this?
So there's gonna be someone there for the reviews to answer questions. We have our council retreat. So they're gonna be talking about the past plan, not this upcoming one, at that. But next year, they'll be able to do a retreat where they dive even further as a review. But before it gets taken and adopted, yes, there's multiple points where people can. And I should add too, when air quality got pulled from the sustainability plan was during a retreat when it was just council talking with one another. And that's when it was decided.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering if like they knew what we could control regarding air quality in terms of like having EV stations, or I know they're not happy about it, single hauler trash, like maybe they just didn't understand what we had control of, or they, I don't know, it's odd that they would reject that.
I could see how it couldn't be measurable, right? Like, how do you measure it, right? Is that what you said, Mel, in the beginning?
That makes sense.
Like measuring air
They-
quality?
Yeah, that they were like, we can't measure this.
No, they said they couldn't control it, right? So like ozone pollution and everything, it's such a grand scale thing. But your transportation, you even get that from people all over the place. So it can be this like huge, like amoeba type of thing. But education is not. Education can do so much.
I guess I don't really understand that lack of control. I mean, I know that I'm not, you're not the one to argue against. I just don't understand that. Their thinking doesn't make any sense to me, so I don't know how to reword it so it makes sense to them.
I wasn't able to respond, so I couldn't say
Okay.
anything.
You could just add in there, no joke, could add something that's like improving both indoor and outdoor, air pollution with the things that we can control.
Or maybe it's like aiming at like encouraging, you know, different sectors, businesses, individuals to reduce their own air quality or impact, or to like, yeah, to be able to have some control over their emissions. Because I don't think that there needs to be a measurement. I think that there needs to be encouragement, like I said, like things with like EV chargers, right? Like, so
Yeah.
we as individuals or entities within Inglewood can do things to reduce air quality, you know, taking public transportation, stuff like that. So I don't know that there has to be some sort of measurement of the air over Inglewood to have an impact. Does
So
that make sense?
One thing that will fall under this category if council approves it is any of our greenhouse gas inventory updates, which actually we get one at the end of this year. Like those fall under here, so that's data.
Okay.
Something else that would, oh, actually, never mind, this would fall under climate action, but there would be a lot of data points, but a lot of education for air quality and how to reduce emissions. Any other comments on the goal areas?
I think for that second one, for energy and built environments, more efficient, sustainable, and climate resilient, maybe? I don't know if climate ready makes sense.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
What else?
I kind of like clean and connected transportation slightly better, but it's not something I would throw fit over. This has a nice ring, I guess, a little less wonky.
Sorry, which one?
Low to no emission transportation versus clean and connected transportation.
What I get nervous about with the word clean is there are a lot of folks that say natural gas is clean. So I just think using the word clean can leave you open to how people want to perceive it, I guess. I agree that it flows so much better.
I agree. I mean,
I do think in the rewrite, the connected piece is no longer coming through for me. The like integrated multimodal transit option. So if there's a way to weave that back in. But Mal, I do also agree with you that clean is really subjective and often loaded as a term.
Okay, should we move to the projects one? Okay. So, for sustainability division projects that we're gonna recommend and metrics. So one thing we were also told, if there is an ongoing project that obviously we're excited about, but you don't wanna put like, keep going with this project, we're switching it over to a metric so we annually track it since the project is done. So for waste, we actually have a lot of projects that we're tracking. So one is around our hazardous waste at your door one, so we have a metric around there. The other is around our annual leaf drop that we do with Littleton and Sheridan, so that's on there. The third one, where it says at the municipal level, divert 4,000 pounds of organic material, that's for our composting program. And then there's this overall one of 40% community-wide diversion by 2030. And this one just aligns with what the state goal is. So the state, I want to say, has, I think it was like 45% by 2035 or some kind of interesting in-between number. So it was just a number that was on track for kind of what they had.
Hey, real quick, Mel, what's the, like, what is that, what's the measure, how do you measure that?
Community-wide waste diversion?
Yeah,
all
like,
of them,
how much?
actually.
is it
How do, so I can tell you for each one. So for hazardous waste, Waste Management gives us a report every month and at the end of the year of how much waste they collect, but then how much waste they actually divert, because sometimes it's just garbage. So we take what they actually diverted. So we get hard numbers from them. For the LEAF program, we get hard numbers from A1 Organics. So this last year, I want to say it was about like 2,200 pounds that we diverted. For the third one, for the municipal level, Compost Colorado tracks all of our tonnage that they pick up. We have hard data on that. And then for the community-wide waste diversion, how you do that is you get recycling and trash numbers from waste haulers, and then you see how much is diverted through
That's
that.
the one that's tough.
Yeah, they
That-
don't want to give up that data, right?
They typically don't want to give up that data, but something that we've done for the last greenhouse gas inventory is when you get data from like the big haulers in your community, if the smaller ones don't want to, you can extrapolate their data and make a very good assumption from the larger hauler data.
So when it's a single hauler.
Diverted.
Recyclable, or
Diverted just means.
doesn't necessarily mean that even though it's sent to recycling, that it's actually recyclable.
So the numbers we get are the tonnage of recyclables that the hauler gets. What they do have as well is Republic has data of like contamination,
Okay.
which essentially means what they have to throw away.
Okay.
So you can take that into it as well. Of like, we had this diverted, but this much contamination, so this is our true diversion number.
And contamination would be plastics that can't be recycled, or people
Wish-
throwing
wish
stuff in there that
cycling,
they
yeah.
shouldn't even, like
Mhm.
plastic bags or
Mhm.
shredding. I heard that you can't put, people think you can shred it and then put it in there. Clogs up their machines and stuff like that.
The plastic bag?
No, like if you shred, paper shredding, like you shred old documents.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll put it, in a paper bag and I'll put it in the recycle, but I heard that it actually gums up the machines. So,
So when they say that it's contaminated, it's not like a whole load. Like if I say, it's like, oh, we can't recycle this plastic bag. You don't throw away everything that was in the recycle bin with it, right?
So this is one tidbit, if you're recycling and you're plastic bagging everything, that's immediately going to the landfill. They can't take anything in a plastic bag.
Oh, so they do, the whole thing goes out with it.
Yeah, you have to just put your recycling like bare bones in the thing. So like that would be contamination, right? They're picking it up and they're throwing it away.
Yeah, but if it's an empty plastic bag, they don't throw away the whole lot of it. They just throw away the empty plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
well, I think that's where education is really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I can learn a lot as well, but.
And this is for, at the end of the meeting, we talk about this year. I would love a field trip to go see a plant that
I would
actually
too.
handles
I'd like
recycling.
to.
I can make that happen.
Would be
They're
wonderful.
during the day typically, but Laura, so the city of Englewood, for our buildings, we use Waste Management, and we do a tour of theirs, and it's incredible. I'm pretty sure Republic has tours, and I heard those are incredible. I'd be happy to set that up for you all.
Yeah, I think we should.
Oh, yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay, anything else on the metrics side?
I'm
of
sorry, I
things?
just have a question.
Yes.
These were, what you're going over now was already in last year's plan, or these?
Nope,
are
so
new?
this is what we're recommending
Oh,
for the
this is all new.
updated plan. Yes.
Then why-
Yeah.
Then why?
Sorry,
Why
I
did
should-
it just these say new then?
So this is for the goals that we just looked at. What I added was if it was an old definition from something already there. So like sustainable business,
Oh,
this was the old definition and we're not recommending any
just the
change.
definition.
Yeah, just
Oh,
the
okay.
definition. But then see here, like this would be new. So I said, NA, this is a new one. So then here's the new definition.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Okay, and then the two projects adding here, which we've had in years past, was just host education around increasing waste for the business community. And I put business there twice, I apologize. One should say business, one should say resident. It shouldn't be a duplicate. Okay. I will move on to, because I don't want to take too much time on ours and then not give you all enough time to talk about your own, but please stop me if I go too fast. And then up here at the top, we have plug and play in South Metro Waste Diversion, so that'll be in the plan to let people know to look at that one. Climate action, this looks sparing, but do not be discouraged just because the plug and plan of the climate resiliency framework, which lists out a lot of projects, is in there. So the one we have metric of fund at least 3 sustainability grants a year, and the other project of creating a heat map for Englewood, and then to create an action strategy or plan once we have that heat map. Does everyone know what a heat/extreme heat map is? No? So different municipalities around the country have done this, and it's becoming increasingly more popular as it's becoming hotter and hotter. You essentially get these little devices and you get a bunch of volunteers and you drive around during some of the hottest days of the summer. Typically it's in August, and you get to physically see which areas of your community are the most hot. Shocker, it's usually the ones with no trees and a lot of cement. But then with that data, you can say like, this is really where we need to invest time and resources into some cooling areas. So that is a heat map. Going to air quality and emissions, we have conduct our updated 2026 greenhouse gas inventory and municipal inventory. And then we have create a wildfire smoke preparedness guide and or disseminate current information, because the state might be working on a smoke preparedness guide already. So we don't want to duplicate if it's coming, but we want to put that it would be important. For the other ones, implement an indoor air monitor rental program at Englewood, similar to the one in Sheridan. We actually already have our air monitors. They're just being registered with the library. So they're in our possession. We just have to launch the program. The other metric would be reduced carbon emissions from buildings year over year. Something that we've run into, and I'm sure some of you more veteran folks remember, is we had tried to pitch greenhouse gas targets to council and they just indefinitely tabled them and did nothing with them. So sometimes doing emissions reductions can be a little tricky. However, if we at least just want to reduce them year over year, I think that could be a reasonable ask. And then the other one was when the greenhouse gas inventory is conducted again in 2030. So we're doing one in 2026, we'll do another in 2030. Then we want to see a community-wide greenhouse gas reduction. Yes.
I had two comments then on their air quality and emissions. Indoor air monitor rental program. I was just at a panel with a doctor from National Jewish who studies air quality effects on health. And he mentioned that indoor air quality monitors are really good for particulates and not much else. So other types of pollution that cause damage aren't captured there. But my only thought there is could the indoor air monitor rental come with a flyer or like an attached laminated sheet or something that notes that this measures this, but you might also want to investigate these other pollutants that don't show up on it.
Yep. So how to measure other pollutants.
I don't know if you need to put it in here, but maybe you just have it in your.
A little mental note?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I thought that was interesting, I didn't know that. And reduce carbon emissions from buildings year over year. I see how it could go in multiple categories, but it really seems like it would fit in built environment more since it says buildings.
I know, I was thinking that too, and I was so torn because I'm like, it's emissions, but it's buildings. But I think it can go in, yeah, I could totally move it.
Are you referring to municipal buildings specifically?
That is a great question because I didn't specify it. Could be all three of residential, commercial, and municipal.
Okay.
And we could break that out into three, so let me do that.
And you would be able to measure that?
So actually, commercial and residential is insanely easy to measure because Xcel Energy every year comes out with a community energy report by city. And they straight up tell you from our residential, here's how much kilowatt, therms, and how much greenhouse gas emissions they emitted. Here's how much the commercial sector emitted. The only caveat is they'll come out with their data about 6 months into the year for the next year. So if you wanted 2025 data, we won't get that until like July.
Okay.
So it's just a little delayed, but it's very easy once they come out with it.
Does it factor in solar installations and things? In other words, it's a net for a given property, do you know? Because if you want to see change, you want to see if we have more properties that take on solar, that it can reduce the overall.
Something I'll do is I'll send the most recent community energy report so you all can see it. It's actually so fascinating. They go over the percentage of renewable. That is our mix, which I think the last one I saw was like 45% renewable, 42 or 45% renewable. And then it also goes over how many folks are enrolled in solar programs, which I think it's Solar Connect means you have solar on your home. So you can see all that data of your community. It's really, really cool.
That's cool.
I wonder if you want to say homes and buildings, because sometimes buildings, people just think big blocky things. Sometimes they think homes and buildings, but sometimes they don't.
So instead of residential, commercial, say homes and
Homes and
buildings.
buildings, maybe?
I think that's helpful. I thought big blocky.
And then buildings that kind of encompasses city buildings too. So I don't think you need to break it out in
Into
here.
three, just break, yeah.
Would buildings include apartment buildings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're not, those are residences though.
Apartment buildings over a certain unit, they fall into a commercial category. Mm-hmm. Which I think honestly makes sense. You wouldn't want like a mega building being like, here's your residential
Right.
lot. Anything else for air quality and emissions? Fabulous. So energy and built environment, we have the plug-in plan of the low-income energy efficiency outreach strategy. Then we have complete our municipal energy efficiencies laid out in our project that we're under contract with already, complete our solar projects laid out in that plan. One of the things, and this is going to be brought up to council at their retreat at the end of the year, we have a project in the sustainability plan that was barely started for a big reason, and one was to assist homeowners with lead removal. So we had looked into what our options were for that. All the municipalities that have it, which aren't as many as I thought would have it, all get it through HUD funding. We had done interviews with those communities, and they're really great, really impactful programs, but the match is pretty high for a community to do it, and the staff time is pretty high, but that's no reason not to do it. It's a really impactful program, but something we just need to make sure of is like, is council very on board to take this on? Do we have like a financial match set aside for it? So that's why this project says continue to explore financial avenues to see if we could one day make this a program, because I don't think it should be fully removed and forgotten about, but it's a pretty big behemoth project from what myself and the past city management fellow discovered in our research.
Do you have any idea what the percentage of Inglewood homes, or I guess buildings, would have lead paint?
We have a map of homes built before, I want to say it's like the 70s or 60s, where you have a higher percentage of it. And it looks like we have quite a decent bit that would potentially have lead paint. And that's where you want to really get in. One thing, I'm pretty sure the state has free lead testing kits that you can get. But this would go even beyond that of being like, okay, you identified lead, we're gonna like greatly help you remediate and remove that lead. But the really great, like the most equitable programs, like you help cover costs for the family to live somewhere else temporarily. Like it's a very pricey program, but it's so good, but it's so pricey.
Okay.
A home that has lead paint because they were built in the 40s and has since been repainted with latex, does that qualify as a lead paint house, or is it a reformed lead paint house?
That's a great question that I don't know the answer to, but when I was researching up on lead, I know that there are certain paints, like specific special paints that you can put over lead paint, and then it's like more safe. But the only thing is if you chip that off, then you're still getting exposed to lead. Yeah, like it's like painting over the problem is not the best route, but it's better than nothing.
I'm just wondering whether they would qualify under that or not.
It can't be just like any paint though. It has to be like a specific paint. I learned just so much researching it on this project. Not enough, but I learned a lot.
I think it makes sense to keep it in there as is, and so that's not forgotten.
And then the last one is just onboarding that building electrification specialist, which I'm so excited for. The next one, water and natural environment. We have, this one changed a little bit, and this is my fault for just ripping it and putting it in. This 50% was before council made the direction that parks bond. Parks could only have that 10% native plant. Do we all remember that conversation? So this metric will have to be adjusted, but the GIS map that hopefully everyone was able to access, I'm gonna work with parks to figure out like what that percentage could be. So it will be some metric, but most likely not 50%. The other one for the ongoing project one, because we have the lawn replacement program that's super popular, we have convert 2,000 square feet of residential turf into native plants annually. And then we have two projects, implement a tree protection ordinance, and then annually promote smart irrigation practices for both residential and commercial.
What do you mean by implement a tree protection?
So this is something that Sustainability Commission and Parks had started quite some time ago, like 2 years ago. The city council was interested in a tree protection ordinance. They had asked the commission to look at like what could that look like. Back then we had an urban forester named Evan who was incredible. it was like right at the finish line of going back to council. And then Evan no longer worked at the city. He actually moved to Sweden with his partner, which I'm so sad. So then we had this huge hole of we can't have a tree protection ordinance with no urban forester because they have to implement it. We now have someone in that position, so this tree protection ordinance can make really great ground this year, but it's been in this like very frustrating hold. But I can send you the past documents of what the draft looked like.
Is this for like Parks and Rec, or is this for people?
This would be for
trees in everybody's?
It would be for commercial properties, if I'm remembering correctly. And essentially, if you wanted to cut down a protected tree, you're able to do that, but you have to pay a fine into the tree protection, like ordinance fund.
Okay.
Yeah,
Commercial properties.
commercial, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that
So
was
rebuilds
pretty
on
much worked
on-
out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Rebuilds
And then we
on-
lost
on
our
residential.
forester. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
there was something on, yeah, like Rick said, there was something on the rebuilds too. If you
The
wanted to
rebuilds on-
level out a tree, you were,
You're gonna level a house and you're gonna build something, but the tree is substantial and it can be held, then if you take it down, then there needs to be an offset there, and that's what the tree fund is supposed to be.
I'm gonna make a note.
but
to
I think
send
we
you
also tried to
that,
make it more difficult.
But if
to
I
say
forget,
trees.
please nudge me and say, please send me that. Okay, are we good on this one?
I had one thought on this page really quickly. For the residential turf conversion one, I wondered if there's room to be more ambitious than 2,000 square feet. Because for a lot of lots in Inglewood, that's not even half of their yard.
So that's a great question. So this is based off the lawn replacement program that we currently have, where in order to take advantage of the program, you have to at least remove 200 square feet. So 2026.
So it's like 10 houses, or yeah, 10 participants in that program.
Yes, and why we did 10 houses is because 2026 is likely going to be the last year that we get double the funding through the nonprofit to go towards the program. And 2027, we might see a big decrease in what we can afford without that grant funding. So in order to have a metric to ensure that we still have this program, but something that isn't way out of reach, we did 2,000.
Hillary, maybe I'm reading your mind, but tell me if I'm wrong. If we actually got the certification program up and running, we could add to that, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking a new metric of Coloradscape participants. Could be a metric
Yeah.
for water and natural environment.
In other words, that may actually offset the diminishing factors on.
I'm gonna add that one to the sustainability
Yeah, I
commission
figured,
one, because that one is perfect. And also, I hope I find a fence. Anything else?
I was looking at the smart irrigation one at the end of water and thinking about how you often see errant sprinklers going off in the middle of the night like a fountain. And I wonder if that could be reported to Inglefix and Inglewood could help notify the property owner, because I think the property owner often doesn't know. It's like, it's going off at night, they're not out there.
I think that falls in line with, I know we talked about this, but you've got to have a way when the water usage goes up to alert residents almost as immediately as you can, like a running toilet or a sprinkler. I would like to see something around that. I know we have the capabilities. They have the new billing system. Everybody knows that was really successful. Great rollout. But we can.
It's still a great rollout.
It's still rolling out
It
great.
has rolled out.
It has rolled.
But there's gotta be something there. So maybe it's something around that. I think that's a great point, right? Like you don't know a sprinkler in the middle of the night has gone off. Can we say something about trying to not have people water in the middle of the day, like 3 PM? Or no?
Is that education?
Yeah.
I think that might be the polite way to
Mhm.
cover that one.
Smart irrigation.
I know Aurora fines you if you do it in the middle of the day. You have to have We only exempted our large properties because it's impossible to do it. So like I was a president of an HOA on a large common ground community. And there was no possible way to water all of that. So we had, but
But you know, by an Inglewood, you can water, there's nothing stopping people from watering in the middle of the day. We don't have anything against it.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it would be nice to see
We have
something
plenty of
against it.
water. City has plenty of water.
Like, yeah,
Even if we have plenty of water, we can sell the extra. So
Well, I'm being
financially-
facetious in that whole discussion about how we manage the water that we have. Is something that I think would be wonderful to take up. It's a big hill to climb.
We like hiking. We like hiking up hills.
I don't think I mind being dehydrated.
I'm gonna steal that whenever anyone says it's a mountain to climb. I'm gonna be like, I love hiking. It's fine. All right.
Something else I heard, I'm sorry, I don't know that it goes in the plan, but, our noxious weeds that we're trying to get rid of, my neighborhood has a bunch of ash trees growing, like billions of them, and code enforcement said, we can't enforce trees, we can only enforce plants and not trees. Like little plants and bushes, but not trees. And that seemed like someone could insert a word in the right place and then they could at least have authority to look at that.
You're right.
Ash tree is in,
Are you referring to the ash trees or the elms? Because
Elm,
the
elm, 'cause that's
elms
elm.
are the ones that are the.
Yes, elm trees,
Yeah.
that's it.
What,
sorry.
Chinese elm, yeah, I know. Can you, the elms that are sprouting up, you know, the little, like, how they, whatever, is that still, I'm not even joking, is that considered part of a tree? Can that be considered a bush because of the height?
Code enforcement told me it's a tree.
I mean, okay.
Officially, I think it's categorized as a tree. And even
Like
though-
the alleys have rules about you can't have weeds over X height, but it doesn't matter how high these little elm seeds go because they're not a weed, they're a tree.
So is there actually an ordinance against them? I have no idea.
No,
Not
there's
against the
not,
trees.
but-
There is no one, okay.
No, and then they really run fence lines, I mean, because that's the easiest way for that to sprout. But we have not, I'm looking at Rick, I don't think we've addressed elm as a problem. In other words, it's not something which is an overgrowth of a lawn, basically, so it doesn't enter that realm.
You wouldn't have to go into specific noxious trees at first, but you could think about moving just tree into the definition so that in the future they could be addressed if need be.
I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look up how, because we're literally in the middle of reworking that and coming up with a little bit more firm definitions for it, but thank you for bringing that up.
And Rick looks into it.
Consider age too.
I love having a code person here because I would be like, I
Yeah.
have no idea. I stay in my sustainability lane. All right, anything else before we go to sustainable business? So this one is a pullover from last year, explores ways to increase job readiness and upcoming green jobs.
I was
This,
thinking of that one of adding Powerhead Colorado since they have that workforce component.
yes. The next one's in sustainable business, our plan and host annual events focused on sustainable business practices and green workforce awareness, education, and career pathways. Hopefully you all know this already, but Aiden is like, I always tell him in a past life, he was an event planner. He's just such a good job for sustainable business events. Another one he has in there is create and update resources for business on how to increase their sustainability. Another is implementing a waste diversion education program for businesses. The idea would be they go through this one-on-one education with him on waste diversion, and then they get like a certificate at the end. And then our metric there for this category is number of businesses in SBP. So the next one, again, this was for transportation, so a little bit outside sustainability, but the sustainability plan, but I think it's relevant. For the plug-in plan of the EV action plan, first of all, and then the projects of completing the Arapahoe County multimodal study, which our community development department is in on that one. We annually host a bike to work day station. This one will probably get changed to a metric, because again, they just don't want to see the annual ones just repetitive. So I'll work to see what metric that could be with our HR department that hosts that. The other one is explore a public e-bike program. And then the last one is increase city staff participation and angle ride year over year.
Sorry, is it the e-bike program, and then, I think we talked about this, the scooters? That's not included in that, or not, or it is?
It's pretty broad right now. So something in the Arapahoe County multimodal study, which I'm not a part of, I can't speak eloquently on. And I know it like just started a few months ago, I believe. They're looking specifically at multimodal for Englewood of what that could look like. So maybe this is e-bike, maybe this is e-scooter, but they're working with whatever consultant they're working with for this study to look at what's best. But I don't know, Englewood has none right now, which I'm like.
I know, and we've talked about this, the scooters turn off when you come into the Inglewood Mountains, and you can't park them there, and when you ride
But
one.
you just don't want a Portland situation where people are like throwing them in the river, so.
Yeah, no, we don't even have a river, nothing to worry about. Hey, so yeah, maybe change the language around that, like a public e-bike or e-scooter program, or something like multimodal program, something that doesn't pigeonhole it. Also maybe on like your metric, your Eagle Ride, whenever those shirts are gonna become available.
Dollars made.
I think you could just.
Once we roll out a community-wide one, yes. And so there is a community-wide Angle Ride in the community climate resiliency as a project, which is why it's not here. It's because it's already reflected there.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And then
No, I like it. But in my head, I was thinking, you know what else those shirts are great for is like a bike train. That's what they call it.
Bike bus.
Bike bus, yeah.
Yeah, which Charles Hay, I think, has done like 2 of them already.
They did, but they did.
Yeah,
But I think they should be more
they're
consistent.
so cute.
Yeah, so we
I would
need
love
shirts
that.
for them.
Okay, that's all
I
the
think
staff ones.
scooters might be in, explore electric micro-mobility options in the plug-in EV plan. Electric micro-mobility must be e-bikes and scooters.
Oh, down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what it is, Mel?
Yes. And that one was actually the Explore Electric Micromobility options in the EV plan really came out of wanting to do a better focus of an equity lens for the EV plan, because owning a vehicle in and of itself, no matter if it's gas or an electric one, like some families, some individuals just can't afford it. So to be like, here's our transition plan. But electric micromobility is way more attainable. So yes, already listed.
Well, you have the other thing on that is how many people riding single, just kind of bebopping around Eaglewood, like one person in one car. That's me. Like an electric scooter would be, I would rather do that than my car.
Yeah.
So that's all the staff ones. The rest is stuff listed in other plans. So you all tell me how you want to go about it next. I can pull up your past document with all the recommendations. We can go through other projects listed here. You all tell me.
Can you fix the capitalization in there or make a note to it?
For which one?
This electric vehicle action plan.
That was pulled from, yes, that was Xcel Energy wrote these. So that's why they're all
Different.
But those are all going to be presented to council.
No, so these won't be presented to council, they're just the plug-in plan, so in the strategic plan, I'm assuming it'll look similar to what it looks like now, where it has just this little plug, and it goes plug-in plan, it lists it.
Oh,
So they won't see this stuff, I just put this here to help with you all see like, okay, this is already in a plan, this one isn't.
so in this memo to council, does it consist of any like additional suggestions we might have? Or are we saying these are the key areas that we want to support? Or are we saying we want to support this whole plan?
It can go however you all decide. If you all want to, let me pull up your suggestion document. So you all listed stuff in there that I don't have.
So theoretically, our brainstorm list, once we pare it down and make it presentable, would be combined with that list that we just went through, and that's what we're presenting.
Doesn't have to be. So you all could say in a memo, like, here's our recommendations. We also agree with the ones coming from Sustainability Division. You could also say, just here are our recommendations, and that's it. It's whatever your group wants to decide to recommend.
So I guess for this one, if you haven't put it in yet, under water and natural environment, the Coloradscape, Radscape participants as a metric. I want to be optimistic.
Like that?
Yeah. The other one I was thinking was for energy and built environments to go along with the new electrification specialist, some kind of increase in, I don't know, decrease in natural gas equipment, something around with electrification. Or-
One thing that's tracked pretty easily through Excel is natural gas usage from both residential and commercial. One thing that's really exciting is we're already seeing a decrease in that year over year.
And this might get lost in the whole, tracking emissions thing, maybe more like implementation of electrification projects or something to go along with the new
That sounds better.
electrification specialist specifically.
Implementation of electrification projects.
Is that what they're doing?
So that's a great question. The building electrification specialist, one, it's gonna be a very new position that I think only like Boulder County, from my knowledge, has like a beneficial electrification specialist. We're time and cost sharing them with the city of Sheridan. Our main thing, especially in the beginning, is we want them to be our like knowledge expert on all things like rebates, policy, everything going on with building electrification. And then also to do a lot of events for education and outreach.
Okay.
So implementing things, at least in the beginning, I'm not 100% sure.
Got it.
But they will be a big help with our comprehensive municipal energy project, ensuring that everything is tip-top shape with that one.
Okay. So would it make sense to have a metric like additional community outreach regarding electrification? I would just like to
Yeah, it could
highlight
say like,
that new specialist in some way.
one thing could be, we could get, and I see these, we use them at Sheridan, is that like clicker for how many people you engage with. So it could be like individuals engaged on building electrification at events, or.
What if metric, because we could get it from Excel, right, would be number of residents that received rebates for heat pumps or heat pump water heaters. And you could get that from Excel and probably Dr. Cog too. And then it's kind of promoting something good rather than reducing something bad.
So received rebates for heat pumps, you said, and water heaters?
Heat pumps and or heat pump water heaters, heat pumps or heat pump water heaters, yeah.
Yes.
Because then that's actually people that did something, or households
Mm-hmm.
that actually did it, not just learned about it.
True.
One thing also to a follow-up of questions that we had last time, around E3, because I know we had a lot around like what we could and couldn't do. So our program administrator reached out to the county to see what's allowed and not allowed. They said we're not allowed to restrict, so we couldn't say no fossil fuels. And then there was one comment on, could we change the income eligibility, which that's not allowed because it's HUD, so it has to be income eligible. And then there was another comment around, could it be renters and homeowners, and it has to be homeowners. It has to only be open to homeowners.
I was thinking more
But-
about that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. They did say that recommending things is okay though, of like providing education and recommendation on electrification. That would be totally fine.
That's where we landed last time though, wasn't it? Like, oh, we recommend you do this thing, and we put this positive spin on it, which means that we're more restricting you, but we were encouraging what we wanted.
So I only bring up because this one will now have to be changed. So E3 grant modifications, how would you all want to word this now? Because it can't be what to allow, not allow, but
How about
I was
emphasis
thinking a
on,
little bit more about that, and it might take a follow-up question then, about all of this. And it seemed very non-offensive to anybody to focus the money on the thermal envelope, insulation, windows, air sealing, and that doesn't restrict using natural gas. It also doesn't unfairly promote electricity. It just reduces all energy. But then it keeps us out of the political firing range of gas versus electric. And I think everyone could be okay with better thermal envelope. And not everyone is okay with putting more money to gas furnaces. And so that does kind of limit it, but it's not like you can use gas, you can't use gas or anything. So I wonder if they would be okay with that
So-
narrowing.
the only thing I'll say though is, so in the last year, I guess 3 people used the grant to get a heat pump. Which that would be beyond the envelope. And so
That would be good, but then last year we didn't have thousands and thousands of dollars in heat pump grants from Excel or Dr. Cog or the state, because those are all 3 new. So it's almost kind of arguably not good use of city dollars either for that. Because the state offers up to $14,000 and Excel is like up to 9,000. And I don't know what Dr. Cog is, but that's a lot.
so you're talking about it, putting more of the emphasis on the envelope. In other words, that we would stress that this money could be more efficiently used by replacing windows, insulating, those kinds of things. Is that kind of where you're leaning?
Yeah, but really they just kind of do what the energy auditor says. So rather than just education about it, I'd rather just narrow it a little. And then that could, I think, make the money go further too, if we're not buying people new heating systems.
So modifying E3 to only allow building envelope use.
I would say directing E3 funds towards thermal envelope improvements, e.g. in parentheses, insulation, windows, air sealing, or air leakage, either one.
Sorry, can you word it again how you want it worded? So direct E3 funds.
Towards thermal envelope improvements, and then in parentheses, e.g. insulation, comma, windows, comma, air leakage, comma, weatherproofing. Yeah.
Perfect. And I can double check for next time too if there's any hesitancy for that one.
If they say no, you can sick me at them.
Mel, real quick, the box above that, is that right, that Excel's batter well, or is it battery?
Battery, yes.
I always look at that too, Elizabeth is like.
I was like, I don't know. Mine's this.
I was just trying to see how well you all review documents.
It's like cake batter.
Yeah, there's
Installation.
I was thinking
there's
battery.
like 6 Easter eggs.
Battery.
Oh, yeah, that's all I was thinking, like, well, wait a minute, this makes sense.
I have something. I wasn't here last time, but I did review everything today. And this is an idea that I've actually floated with Parks, and I've actually thrown it by the mayor, both of whom seem enthusiastic about it. And I'm not sure if this belongs here or not. It's kind of way out different. I just brought up an article that I've been following pretty closely, that the town of Windsor has consistently purchased light poles from Excel and from the utilities in order to manage and own the type of light sources that come out and the maintenance of that, with the thought that you are going to be increasing safety by putting in LED lights versus sodium lights, or as well as being able to have fewer replacement costs associated with that because those lights last longer. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're bringing in energy costs down across the city for everybody, as well as improving safety. And I know safety falls under the resiliency issues. I don't know if that's something that we would want to throw in here. It's kind of a big ask, but I do know that that Nathaniel's interested. And
Erie's done it too, or is in the process of doing it, and a few others.
Is it because Excel doesn't do it unless the,
So Excel did have an LED conversion plan for municipalities. I have a wicked old email that I have to pull up to find the data of like what percentage they did of Englewoods, which it was a decent chunk, but when you own them, you can like convert them faster. It is a grind to do, the people during it. Yeah, it's not the funnest project, but a lot of people do because it does make impact for reducing electric use.
And you get, because we know that energy costs, electricity costs are going to increase, this is a way of offsetting against that early on. It could be the kind of long-term goal, 5-year goal or something like that, where a portion of money is set aside every year to convert some aspect of the city. Could start with the parks, and I know that that's what the mayor has been doing, is basically approaching the parks director to say, as we're doing these updates, as we're doing this bond dispersion, I know he wants lighting to be a high priority for that. So that would tie in with that kind of thing. Again, I don't know if we want to throw that in there. It's a big thing.
Wording you could do if you wanted to, because for projects, they don't have to be like, yes, we absolutely want to do this, or no, we don't. It could be explore. Explore is always a great word to put in there, because then it's just saying staff will do the research in it. They'll present if it's good or not, and then you can move on.
Since some of them are already LEDs done by Excel, that wouldn't have the financial benefit, but I'm wondering if there are other non-energy saving benefits of owning them, and I don't know what those would be. Independence is one.
Well, one of them is independence, is being able to manage it. But I think that there are enough, I mean, you're right, as far as priority, you don't approach those first, you approach the ones that you really want to see a change in terms of light intensity and safety, as well as the economics associated with it. But I would love to put in something that, to explore the purchase option of purchasing existing Excel light poles for the purpose of increasing efficiencies and saving the city money, something like that.
What's, have you seen the ROI?
They're looking at the ROI. Yeah, I can bring it up here. It's pretty significant.
Is it?
Rick, do you mind rewording that so I don't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe include ROI.
Explore, let me see how they word it. Explore acquisition of Excel streetlights,
Gradual acquisition?
acquisition of streetlights to improve efficiencies
Security.
and security,
Safety and
And
security.
as well as saving, cost savings to the city.
Did you get all those? Security. And
Efficiency, security,
And maybe long-term savings.
long-term savings, that's good. Yeah, and long-term savings. You asked about our.
self-determination or word around that.
I wonder what's, like, how long does it take?
So it says the total cost of the acquisition and LED conversion is estimated to be $2.3 million. This is for Windsor. With the town anticipating a return on investment by year 7. By year 8, Windsor expects combined savings to begin with an estimated $5.3 million in energy and maintenance cost reduction over the next 20 years. That's huge.
Wait, is it 5.3 over 20
million
years?
over 20 years. The
We don't
savings.
know if they had any done before or if they're all starting from the sodium hydride.
I don't know.
Explore sounds good.
Yeah, I know a few communities that have done them or are in the process, so I could reach out to them and ask too and see what they got. But I have heard the ones that did it, they noticed it made a lot of sense.
I wonder if the city would be able to have more input than Excel owning them on the quality and the lighting type, because those early ones that cities did were like a harsh white. And if you have your house right there, then that was awful, but just want to make sure city council knows if they consider this, that there's newer ones that can have a better light color.
You could also
Light
probably.
color as well as dispersion, because I think you're looking at
Yeah.
dark night issues right now. That's what we should be moving toward, is there are qualifications for that. And I don't know much about that program, but creating dark skies.
Going for
Could
the
we add
insects as well.
That's a really good idea to add to our list
Yeah.
if we can, is the dark night code for lighting for new construction. That's like, do you make your fancy little landscape lights go up? Or do you make them go down so that you can have more night? And there's a code already written. It's a couple pages. It's not a typical building code, but it could be something that we could do, I think.
Do you want me to
Without
add it?
cost, yeah.
So explore again.
Explore,
Dark, is it dark night?
Dark sky.
Dark
sky
sky,
ordinance for new construction outdoor lighting.
Permanent outdoor lighting. Because otherwise Christmas lights have become an issue, right?
Right, yeah.
Or semi-permanent. Longer than 30 days.
Permanent lighting, yeah. Yeah.
Or just not between Thanksgiving and stock show.
I saw that code language and I thought we should look at that.
Yeah, Boulder apparently has outdoor lighting ordinance. The objectives of the ordinance are to prevent light trespass, reduce light pollution, reduce glare, promote energy conservation, improve safety and security.
My recommendation is never reference Boulder.
Well, not
Unless you want it-
explicitly. I'm just saying our list aligns with
There's a national group that wrote the code language and is getting it dispersed across the country, so I think we could reference that. And it's been all vetted by it's really technical with the lighting people. It's called bug, backlight, uplight, and glare. So it's like bug lighting.
I actually like that.
This could be, one thing that's in the climate resiliency framework is pursue bird city designation. And I think there's a point around that you can get around dark sky ordinances.
Cool.
If that's actually the case though.
I try to remember to send you the language. Or whoopsie.
it does, yeah.
Isn't it though? I got really
Yeah, I'm
excited
like gonna
about
go down
it.
a rabbit hole looking at all of them.
Yeah. Right before that last green block, rebates for instead of from go up, that white line. Yep. For residents that receive rebates for.
So I have a question for all of us. Are we trying to put all of our recommendations in this plan?
Like this chart.
This chart?
So something we've done in years past, but you all can decide however you want to do it, is it was almost like a commission member brain dump of everything they wanted to see in the plan. And then when it came for the memo, there was like a pulse check of like, is there anything that someone doesn't agree with? And then the group would talk about it. If you all agree on everything, you all can then put that into memo formation, being like, these are gonna be our recommendations. Because I think in one year we had, there was like two that the majority of the group didn't like, so it got pulled. So you don't have to like all of them.
I wonder if we could order them kind of subjectively for easiest to hardest, because if some of them are hard and upfront, then city council might be like, whoa, no, not taking that on. But kind of ease them into it, and then maybe we get more uptake.
Yeah, like when you get the first yes and then you keep asking the questions because you keep getting more yeses.
Yeah.
Like it's just like strategy, right? Like, can you do this little thing and then this thing?
Sales 101.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
You know the
council
play.
looks through each line of this and approves it or not?
Are we, I have a question. I was looking at the miles of bike paths. Is it
Yes,
okay?
they should be by going through each one.
Do you want to put any type of measurement around that? Miles is kind of like one, are we talking 2? Are we talking 10? 50? Do we want
The
any
metric
percentage?
is the number of miles, right?
Or an increase by a
Increase
10% or whatever, because if you have 10 miles, that'd be like 1 mile increase or something.
I would veer away just throwing a metric out there without
Knowing,
knowing what that entails.
Or the measurability of it.
Because council's gonna say, why'd you come up with 10? And if you're like, it just felt right, like they're.
I just like that number.
Just like that
Yeah.
number.
Did you say
Just put
increase the miles?
Increase the number.
Increase the number of miles.
Increase year over year, or increase like by a certain time, or just increase?
I
Increase
mean,
by 2030?
I'd say
Like-
during this plan, I mean, yeah.
year over year would be great, but I think that that's not
Yeah.
attainable. Also, people seem to like, also, there's a group, like I don't wanna say like a group, but like it's a divisive, right?
Yeah.
And people don't like the, protected bike paths and things like that, so part of me is wondering if we just stay away from the word protected bike paths. I know like Othaniel really likes them, I like them, but I feel like there's people who do not like them.
This does not help the conversation at all. I just saw this comment online that I thought was really interesting, and someone said, nobody bikes in Colorado. And I was like, are we living in the same Colorado?
What Colorado are they in?
I don't know, that's just so fascinating, I just thought I'd check.
I think you have a point that it could be a little more vague, bike paths and bike lanes, and then whether they're protected or not could be in the weeds later.
If you added something around the language, this is going really too deep, but if you added something around the language that was like, that a child of such and such an age would be feeling safe to ride on solo, kind of says, all right, well, like if I've gotta have a 12-year-old here, a 9-year-old here that's solo, this better be protected, or it better be a path that cars can't get to, or something like that. But that's probably gone a little too far, but it would be one way to word it.
It's also super subjective.
Can we break that out into a project separately? Have the metric just be increase miles of bike paths, and the project be explore increasing percentage of protected bike paths,
Yeah,
something
I like that, for 9-year-olds.
specifically. If you're 8, screw you.
Next year will be for 10.
Exactly, because I've got
But you got
a
a
wild
Okay,
one.
explore You said it so eloquently and my brain just like immediately went to mush.
That's a complete fluke.
Explore an increase in the number of protected bike paths, I heard what you said.
And then remove protected bike paths from the metric.
I'd say bike paths and bike lanes.
I said bike baths too.
Paths, not paths.
In the line
Listen
above
when I
it,
take
yeah.
down.
As lanes.
Is that what you're?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I had a question on the metrics. Some of these seem to be a goal. The metric is a goal, like a 20% increase. And sometimes the metric just says like, here's the number of businesses in SBP. It doesn't say like a 10% increase or 20 new businesses added to it. It just says number of businesses. And so if it's consistent with that, then it's just like miles, that's what we measure. How many miles do we have now? How many miles do we have later? But if it's a goal, then it would say year over year, 10% improvement or whatever. So do you know what they're looking, I guess, what are they looking for? That's
Right,
the
like
question.
what's the like quote
So
unquote
for
smart goals?
SBT, we just put number in there, but Aiden usually puts a percentage each one, but we just put number in there for right now. So that will have a percentage increase. I think wherever you can have an educated percentage increase, yes, do it. But I really, to put a number in there just to put a number in there, I don't think is the bestest of practices. And I'm assuming that this updated strategic plan, or not updated, this new strategic plan will get updated in the same way the last one was, where each year you can make these minor updates and changes. So at least for my opinion, I would say if you don't know a specific metric right now, or like goal metric, like have it in there that at least you want to track it. And then when you know it, make that be a tweak for the next year, being like, this is the actual target that we want to have.
Like in terms of things like the bike lanes, right? You could always go back in time. So do you have several that you could go back in time, like, oh, it was this, it was this, it was this. This was what the increase was this year.
I'm sure community development has that, but I don't have that.
I think E-Tech should put a number in there. I think it's their job.
Well, I was kind of thinking of the way these projects are done, you know, like the thing they're doing with Broadway and Lincoln and that kind of stuff. It's all done, boom, as part of a bigger project. I don't know that I've heard of them doing any of the lanes in a sense separate, you know, separately. So I'm not, as far as that, you know, that metric, I don't know how that would be done. Because there is something to be said, looking at the whole neighborhood and doing it all versus piecemeal.
Something Littleton did that I wanted to poke into and explore was pursuing a complete streets policy. And so instead of having to argue and fight tooth and nail for every 10 feet of bike lane, it would start with a default, like here's the default we want for safety according to these guidelines, and then move forward with that instead of starting with the default of just cars. So I don't know if that's a project.
Oh, you said like when their new street went in?
When they are redoing a street, they have a complete streets policy, which says we want, sidewalks, bike lanes where they fit, that sort of thing. And then they use that as the starting point. And I don't know more details because I'd like to poke into it, but it also seems maybe a little out of our scope, more like an E-Tech scope.
I think I heard that for Englewood, we have something where if you're building something new, where it'll bring a lot of traffic, they have to do a traffic study and determine if they need traffic calming aspects of it, but I wonder if it is, if they have complete streets aspects already in there or not.
I'm thinking not for new construction, but for when we repave streets or reconfigure intersections, that it starts with the default of, let's make this workable for pedestrians and bike lanes where it fits or something.
I really like that idea. Like, I mean, I like the language around that. Because it kind of says, you know, Also, you could be like, can I get from point A to point, like, I define these points, can I get from point A to point X on a bike without being run over?
So I don't know if we know the right words to put in there. It just seems like something we should continue looking into and see what Littleton's progress was in considering that.
Is that more of like a altering code kind of thing, or more of just like have this be?
I don't know if it
Starting
was living in their ordinances or if it was living in their
Design.
public works manuals and
Right.
processes.
Do you want me to put it, for the last notes, I had these general comments that didn't fit anywhere quite yet. Do you
Yeah,
want me
that
to
would be
add it?
good. That would be good.
Maybe like consider the
Learn,
fact-
research and consider a default complete streets policy, I guess.
Yeah, consider a default complete, yes.
Something like that, yeah.
One thing from what I picked up earlier too, is you all mentioned the angle fix on erratic sprinklers. Do you want to add that in as a project that you recommend, or did you all say that as like a back comment for
You mean
like?
if like somebody's sprinkler system has gone awry and then notifying the resident?
Yeah, Christine said maybe having that for angle fix. Do you want that in a sustainability plan? Or I know one of your meetings coming up when strat plan is done, our IT director, is waiting for that comprehensive list from the Sustainability Commission of what updates you want for angle fix. So it could go there as well.
Or I think, yes to that, but I think it was also superseded by what could be a project is looking into the smart metering program, able to alert residents for increased water usage. I don't know if that falls under our purview.
I think it does.
That
if
could
we're
do
trying to
water
like
and,
it-
water and natural environment.
Yeah.
Project potentially.
I think that
But
that would
I
be
think-
more helpful than a lot of things, and I like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd mentioned it, but I live near Emerson Park. I joke, because I say it all the damn time. Anyway, the number of times I've seen those sprinklers go off, when you're like, God, it's just gushing.
So what do you want the project
So-
to be?
Same thing there with the city.
The
An immediate alert system,
Explore, implement,
I want to implement, but I don't know.
Explore implementation of.
you work in government.
Wait, how about
was
explore
thinking
and plan potential implementation? Because then it's like, go look at it and what's it gonna take to do it? Do it. I think this one's a big one.
And what is it you're implementing?
The immediate notification of an increased water usage.
Significant.
Significant water usage event.
Significant water usage event.
Of an unknown though.
Sounds like something that
It's
needs
not just
CPR or
expressed.
something.
I know, it's a very technical term.
I think she implied an exclamation point at the end.
Yes, I love a good exclamation point.
I wouldn't limit it to resident buildings.
I want to do
It's a
Parks and
lot.
Rec too, like I said, Emerson Park, man, those will gush. Nobody, like,
What about?
nobody's out there gushing like.
Property, property.
Can we say property owner or Parks and Rec department?
They have systems for that already, I'm
Do
pretty
they?
sure.
Are
Yeah,
you sure?
I'll add that to my follow-up questions for them, but I'm pretty sure they updated their water systems. To almost all of them are smart ones. Broken T has like a super smart water meter.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah.
And again, when the great new metering system came out, billing system, I had actually talked to the water department at the time, and they said in the coming year, which I think is 2026, that they were going to be implementing the availability of those for residential.
See, then that's like an easy win. Then if they already have that coming, they're like, yeah, put that in the plan because we'll win. Sorry, on that same note,
Again,
this is like, I
who
can't
knows?
remember the details around this, but like, you guys remember Hillary had talked about this, a bit too? There is something weird about the water rights when homes were purchased, and some people are still paying a flat rate of like $20 per month.
Oh, yes.
Maybe part of that project could be to like review the homes purchased against like rates. You should be able to easily go pull it. You pull that, right? That's public information. Both of these are public.
To meter unmetered customers is already a project in the adopted water efficiency plan.
Right.
Okay,
But to do it, but it's been
Yes.
there for
years,
a
like
long
Hillary had to
time.
kind of fight to get hers even changed.
This
And
is.
we need a review to improve the policy and verification of it.
I actually, because I assumed we were going to keep going over some of the breakout things, but where it says meter all unmetered customers, that's bland and unspecific in my mind.
And we already have that rule.
Yeah, and I basically said complete meter conversion on all single and multifamily residences. So in other words, you give it a complete in front of it. This is not something that
Go on forever.
that could, well, it will go on forever. My son's been across the street from me for 6 years now, 6 years, and he's still on a
Flat rate? Yeah.
He's
Like
not
there's-
been approached.
He bought
That's
it
why
6 years
Hillary-
ago?
He
Yeah.
bought it 6 years ago.
Oh, see, we had, I bought my house 25 years ago, and we had to, when it changed hands, we had to, you know, and then since last year, the smarter meter, but yeah, we had to change it. Or they
Right.
changed it from a flat rate to whatever.
But Hillary just went through the same thing, and same thing, she couldn't get anyone to change it for a while. She had to push to go get hers changed. Or I'm putting words in your mouth, Hillary, but that was what I understood.
No, we tried for several years, but then I'm blanking on their name. I wish I could give them credit. A city employee did reach out and say, "Hey, we have new funding. It's only $300 for homeowners now if you'd like to switch." So somebody knew that we were interested and reached out. So I mean, even just taking that step with people who might not even be aware could be really impactful.
Yeah,
And
because if I was like getting $20 flat rate for water, no, I don't want to switch.
they
I
were
wanna do
talking
my
about
water.
It wasn't that cheap. It's the average for a 4-person household.
I thought that when you buy a house here, you had to switch. Isn't that in the law?
That's the problem that we're seeing.
It is the law, but it's not enforced. Like nobody ever told us at our house close and
So I
That's
guess
what I was thinking the project needs to be to
Find the deltas.
enforce it.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
it should be part of the closing agreement, and it should be part
Yeah.
of something that's built into the process.
Yeah, so there's existing homeowners, that's one project. But then there's new buyers
Right.
and sellers, that's a different.
Yeah, but I think you would,
Enforcing it.
if you went back to when this went into effect, like a whatever time period, and you found all the homes in Eaglewood that were purchased since then, and then compared them to what they're paying on, like, you know, are they metered or flat rate? I think those are the deltas you need to start with and say like, this is what we need to focus in on. I really don't think it's being, or at least make it reportable every month. You don't
Well-
need people's addresses, but you need numbers.
One of the challenges, though, of existing is that a number of these homes are owned by older people on fixed incomes, and they don't have the money for that conversion. And so there's another piece of that which says, can we find funding to offset that so that they're not taking a huge hit? If we're working toward required, then you have to be addressing those issues too.
I agree. I think that's a big equity issue, and that's
It
why I
is,
think new homeownership, enforcing it with new homeownership or purchase makes more sense.
Right, we're looking at homes purchased within a time frame, right? Like
No, I'm
ownership.
saying that I think maybe we all agree it's just two separate lines. And one is finding additional funding for existing homeowners.
That predate this time change.
No, it's like from today going backward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next one is if you're buying a home, because every block here has a home for sale. And every block should be checking, is it flat metered? Because that should be a cost either for the buyer or the seller or both for them to work out at closing.
but it seemed like we heard there was no check or verification or enforcement of it, so at least we could start catching every home that's sold as it's sold.
Yeah, I think therein lies the problem. I think that there's not a system to catch those.
So that's what we need though, as a
Yeah.
project to verify that and catch it.
I think a project to track and then a project to verify too.
And I don't know how far along Englewood is with checking every house for lead lines, but that was they synced installing my meter to checking the lines. Those events were tied together because they were already digging in the yard. So that if Englewood hasn't completed that process, there's at least a chunk of houses that they could start that check with.
Do we want to put it in
We're
there?
on to something. We're obviously passionate about it. You guys are passionate about it. We know something needs to be done. We don't know what or how, but
I wonder how many dollars a month that would be for the city, just out of curiosity. I think if you went from like $20 to like $80 a month times, what is that, 60, 100 houses? That adds up real fast. So then you could essentially find the money as well to like fund it.
Good point. So do we want to put one in there or not?
Yeah.
On top of this one or changing this one?
I think again, like I could be misunderstanding what you're saying, Christina, but to me, it's one, we've got to find the deltas, like what homes have been purchased since such and such a time and are flat metered, like Hillary, like 3 or 4 years ago, right? We want to be able to like understand what that is. And then the second one, find funding to help them convert.
Can I make a suggestion that
And then the third is like new
maybe,
ownership.
because this does get revised or reviewed every year, that rather than going into the weeds at this point on how to do this, which might be a pushback on council or members of council to even consider, that we leave the complete meter conversion on all and leave it and just say that's the goal. We're gonna come up with additional pieces over the next year or two on how to do that.
yeah, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
don't want to get too.
Maybe
Because I
going like,
also don't know what's currently happening in utilities, so then it gives them a chance to be like, well, this is what we are doing.
Yes, yes.
maybe
These
like
ideas
something
have
that
already been
paints-
explored at some point, including the offsetting the costs, but I
Yeah.
don't know where that's at. I haven't heard anything.
Well, maybe like a broad stroke that says like, yeah, complete this meter conversion on all unmetered customers, including the number of meters that need to be converted and exploring the opportunities for additional funding to offset the cost for residents. Put all in one, no? Okay.
I don't
I'm
think it's
outvoted
necessary.
and
I
I'm
don't think it's
fine.
necessary at this point. I think we can get into that once maybe they know more about what's going on. And maybe it's something we take on and just say, hey, we're gonna, over the next few months, we're gonna find out that information. We're gonna bring people in who are talking about it, you know, from the water board or wherever they come from, and see if we can gather more information on what's going on.
Are you starting a new subcommittee?
No, I am not starting.
I think you asked below about Inglefix and sprinklers.
Yes.
Um,
If you all wanted to add it, or if you just want to do the recommendation to IT in the next 2 months.
I think it needs that recommending to IT so they can put it in there to be reported. And then maybe something in the magazine that lets people know they can report it, right?
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
So maybe that doesn't need to be in here, but just.
We're at 2 hours. How do we want to proceed? Like, in terms of starting to work up a recommendation, a memo for council?
Something I can do, if you all like this current list how it is, I can start up a draft memo like I've done in the past. And essentially just take everything that's in here and put it in like a very bare bones memo, and then you can add to it. We can do it that way. If you all want to spend time and I can pull up a document and you all do it that way, that's another option. If you want, like 1 to 2 people to take the lead on creating a draft memo and then it gets shared at the next meeting, you can do it that way, but it can only be 2 commission members and there can't be a shared drive or anything like that, which is why in years past we did meet just drafting it because it seemed more efficient. But it's however you all want to do it. This is your memo, your baby. You get to decide.
If you want to draft it, I think that's great, but would you be willing to take a stab at kind of putting the easier things on top and then going to harder within each category?
Yeah, so keeping them in their category, but ranking it from easy to hard?
I don't know if she's asking you to rank it so much as read it.
Or,
Reorder,
yeah, not rank,
reorder.
but reorganize. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely do that. I can take a stab at it, and if you all are like, we don't agree with that organization, you all have the complete liberty to change anything you want in it next time.
When is the council retreat?
So the retreat is just a review of the past strategic plan. So that is at the end of January, but no staff member or commission has their recommendations in by then. That really is them looking at the past 4 years, what's been done. The dates you really want to look at are the ones that I put up.
February 16th.
February 16th, these are tentative ones, but I think they're pretty likely. February 16th of the first one going, and then March 9th of the second study session going. That's the biggest one. And again, I can check with Tim to make sure that if you all get in a memo, so the next meeting is the 10th, we finalize it and it gets either emailed to them or added to the packet if there's a placeholder, then that would work. If he's like, hey, you might miss the February 16th one, but you could make the March 9th one, I can email the commission and see if you all want to do a special meeting to create that before the deadline. That's another option. But I'm assuming, I'm like 70% positive that it would be okay to email and or add to the packet a little later.
I'm on the, I'm open for suggestions, but I would lean into a special meeting. Like somewhere in between that, the February 10th and the other one, to say like, this is where we're at, like we all good.
I think that we could, if you can put together what you're talking about and take those efforts to kind of put the low-hanging fruit in some spaces at the beginning, that it could be distributed to all of us, and that we could have a deadline to get back to people, to you, with any, changes or recommendations or something like that. I'd ideally like to see it go in with stuff and not have to come in later.
Agreed.
The sooner they see it, I think the sooner they'll be considering it and even proposing some of these ideas.
Or putting it in with the rest of the stuff coming in from
I mean,
sustainability.
You don't want it to be like an afterthought of like, okay, guys, listen, this is the last shit we gotta get through
Yeah.
the study session, let's look at this one.
my sense is we don't need to overcomplicate this. Like, I think it makes the most sense since we're all contributing to this, that we would just have maybe Mel, since you're willing, to write an overall memo and say we, strongly support this chart, this plan. And then maybe emphasize three things that are most important to us or something. Like, I don't know that it needs to be more complicated than that. And then next time we can add to it, and then that would be the final chart. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think it depends, I think it's the date, I think either way, we're looking at dates, right?
Yeah, but so something that I'm not positive about, but I think could be an option is that it still makes it into the February 16th packet. If it's just a placeholder, and again, I want to confirm with Tim about this and I can let you all know by end of day tomorrow, of because they need the 2 weeks for the packet, but if we already put a placeholder of like Sustainability Commission recommendations, so then if they get it on the 11th, yeah, it's after that 2 weeks, but the placeholder is already in there. And then Tim, who's the deputy city manager, would have the power to go in there and be like, and then here's the one document that we are missing. I don't know if that would be okay, I just wanna see, but if it is, then you wouldn't need a special meeting to vote on it. But if it wasn't, we can easily set up like a 30 or an hour meeting when people are
We do
available.
it virtually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, we just get
Yeah.
online.
I think we definitely
just
do it
Make sure we get a
virtual.
quorum, and that way we can say, hey, yay. we're done.
mhm.
So is it possible for you to ask that question, and if it can be slipped in, and then we do not need a meeting, and if not, then we all meet online?
Mhm.
Does that sound good?
Mhm.
No, I didn't follow that, sorry.
Come on, hang in.
Oh, for real, okay.
Yeah.
So just Mel asked that question, like if we need to have the packet in before our February meeting. If not, then we can just finalize it next meeting, but if we need to have it all together before our next meeting, then we can meet virtually.
And another thing to know too is those were tentative dates, so I can see if those have shifted too, because maybe they're later. They're very much not likely earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll just follow up, huh, Mel?
Just one more question, is that AI piece is highlighted in green, is that staying in there,
We didn't get that far, did we?
or we just didn't get that far?
AI piece in green.
It was just on the, whatever.
I think it was the
that,
one where we did not want to have a data center, correct?
right there.
This
it's highlighted.
one, yes. I reached out to utilities to ask more about this. And I think I might set up like a mini brief talking with them to see if it makes sense. But yeah, that can stay in there, whatever you all decide.
I really want it in there.
I
and
would
am
like it in there
adamant.
as well.
I'm questioning wording, and the reason is because it makes it seem like council's doing end arounds, when in fact, we could word it as that there should be clear explanations with community engagement or something along that line that might allow it to not be so in your face to council.
Yeah, like there must be community engagement process before.
Requiring community engagement or something.
Yeah, like, requiring, but I would even want it to be like a high level. I just feel like they are such a profit center, but they're such a drain too.
So the response I got from utilities, they were saying any impacts on water demand or usage for a facility like an AI center would be evaluated through the development review process that the city has. For allowance of these types of development, again, it would come through them. From the utilities perspective, they really just looked at the impact of a new development or new facility on the water sewer system once it reaches them for review. So it seems like it wouldn't necessarily be utilities involved. If you wanted the most impact, it would be some kind of adjustment in community development allowances.
And could be building code language, which has some potential requirements for energy
It could
efficiency of
be
new data
PUD or
centers.
something, in which case it has to go to community to have allowances or something. So there is a check process if it has to do with any variances before something like that would move forward.
So what wording would you all like for this one? What alternative wording? And I'll keep this up until you have another one established.
Something to keep in mind when we're figuring out language is data center could be like a portion of a basement in a building, or it could be a massive, humongous data center. So like, what's the cutoff of that?
I think, for that one, I think it's a little bit easier because, we're talking about for the, we could say it like that, for the purpose of a data center. Meaning, like, that's your purpose, right? So like in the
Standalone.
basement of a building, yeah,
Standalone.
they might call that the data center room or what have you, but that's not,
Okay,
uh,
yeah.
like purpose of a data, like,
Gotcha.
purpose of this building is the city. So I would say, standalone data center, yes, like, To update the policies.
Explore language to minimize the impacts of new standalone data centers and increase resident input or review.
Sorry, explore language to,
Minimize. What was it?
I don't think we
Hold on.
want to minimize, right? Like just if it's gonna come
Impacts.
in or not.
I think, so what I feel like it's, how do I say this? Let me articulate it as best I can. I think it has to be citizen first decision. Like community first
Community
decision.
engagement.
Yeah, like it has to be a community first assessment. Because like it's us that loses like water pressure and our like, you know, like energy or our energy rates go up and an increase in density and traffic and everything. And I think it needs to be a community first decision.
So can we say explore possibility of requiring community input before any standalone data center?
Can be prior to being even considered, like being considered or evaluated. Like before they can even consider it, they gotta, like, you gotta get this, and we gotta go community first here.
Gather community input prior to.
wait, hold on, sorry. Is this changed to gather community input?
I want to say
Requiring.
require
Yeah.
community input if standalone data center is being considered within the Inglewood city limits prior to government assessment.
So is that a PUD process, Rick?
Could be, it just depends on what areas they're using, what the restrictions are within those areas. If it's an industrial area, it probably would fly through a lot quicker than it might be. But there's areas over on the other side of Santa Fe that actually have space for this kind of thing.
Prior to development approval? Makes sense.
I would say
But
private,
I was
like,
wondering-
whatever the first step is.
Development consideration?
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. Development consideration, let's call it good.
So am I good to delete this one then?
okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, I do want a little bit of a stronger word besides consider, besides like just input, because if you think about like the signs, like there's gonna be a hearing on this easement, and people are like, oh, that's a cool story.
What about extensive, require extensive?
Extensive. Yeah,
So more than planning and zoning would do if they were tasked with this?
mhm. I think it has to go really in depth for what it is and what it does, and especially with the impact on the environment alone. And because they can go anywhere, and they can be smaller, and there's a lot of different solutions. I think the community has to decide, and if you were living in that mobile home park down there, in that industrial park, like kind of near Santa Fe, that's Sheridan, but if it was me, I'd be pretty mad, because all of a sudden you've got this
How about
resource-
prior to
resource.
considering development, not development
Yeah.
consideration?
Thank you. Require extensive community input.
I guess this is probably beyond our purview, but I mean, it seems like there should be a ballot measure about this.
That's why, that's why I would like to, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Or why, I was thinking the same thing, but then you might have to have like a special election because
Yeah,
otherwise you say,
right,
well,
but
sorry,
you don't-
you have to wait till 2 years before we decide to.
Like, unless if you are the data center that wanting to come in, you could be like, we'll fund the special election. This is nothing compared to the money we make.
Yeah.
I want to say it's got to be ballot special election, personally.
I think that might be pushing what we can get out of council.
That's what I was-
even
yeah, that's-
considering this.
I agree.
Okay,
that's
can we
why-
say,
Just
can we say potentially?
Just relax.
Potentially.
Explore
Potentially.
ballot measures.
Explore, our favorite word, explore ballot measure options.
You've got considered in there twice, so just maybe it needs.
I was seeing that too, and it was
Yeah.
bothering me.
But besides having to fight over the impacts of every single data center that comes along, some blanket policies would also be nice about any that do happen on their efficiency or water, but
So like a separate project of
So I'm not knocking that, but I feel like there's a lot of elements in this plan where we're trying to hold businesses accountable for sustainable practices and green energy and stuff. Do you think that what we have right now would maybe cover that as far as blanket policies go, or would this have to dive a little bit deeper just for this specific vertical?
What we have now seems to be encouraging voluntary improvements for existing buildings rather than setting standards for what new data center type buildings would have to comply with if they even want to consider building here.
So would it be a blanket policy going over any new buildings, like new builds?
New data centers.
New commercials?
It's like a specific component of
Yeah. Yeah,
zoning
like
codes
they,
and-
yeah, you gotta, make more good than bad, right? Like do more good than bad.
And by the way, I think the state legislature is looking at this a lot, or will be this session. I don't know what will come out of it, but they're worried about energy use and water use and bill impacts too. So maybe that would help even if we don't.
Somebody should ask ChatGPT what they should do.
She's gonna run this whole thing through ChatGPT, which is done anyway.
Yeah.
I am
Clean this up and organize it.
How dare you?
Put it in the one. Bye.
I said I wasn't even tech savvy.
Don't train yourself on this model.
You could just put require prior extensive community input if. Requires some community input, stand alone.
Hillary's like just over her house, she's like got a glass of wine.
Yeah, there you go.
She's like, I got some
Getting late.
suggestions for
Turn it
you.
Y'all aren't done.
In your notebook, are you so jealous?
So should we table this until next time? That's totally up to you all.
Unless we
liaison.
need to
Oh my
meet.
God.
I think we should table this until next time unless, and even if that meeting is online.
All right, you all still have the Bellevue Park discussion, if there's anything you want to chat about. No, I see that
I
from
don't
Elizabeth.
know, unless somebody is like, if somebody is like, hey, I thought about this and I got some ideas.
I would like to pass this to next time for the other time.
I would say that too, and I think that we're gonna be at the next meeting
Oh,
for
on
the
Thursday.
bond anyway. Yeah,
Good,
so
that's better.
we can certainly bring back any new information that'll help us to kind of.
And I don't think they're super focused on that yet, like they really did just, they've got if you guys don't know, Cushing Park Dog Park opens tomorrow, there's a big hoopla. Beep, beep.
Dog will be
And
here.
Emerson Parks just started yesterday.
Oh, really?
What started yesterday?
Emerson Park?
The one that she lives near.
I don't know, but I live right by Emerson Park.
Like the dog park portion opened, or what do you mean?
Cushing put in a new dog park.
Right,
Tomorrow they're opening it.
okay.
And I want to say it's like 4 PM and there's like a whole thing,
Oh.
like, there's things.
A dog party?
Yeah, thanks, there's a dog party.
Go dog, go.
Me and my dog are going to trial in March. So we will not be there. Maybe we will. We'll just see how that goes. Anyway, I guess I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, I think we got a minute here. But, so, Mel, maybe I'll like try to compose an email tomorrow and then you can send it out to remind everybody where we're at. I feel like it's just been, it's literally like 2 months since we really talked about it.
I know the timing with strat plan is just really difficult.
Yeah,
But you all-
I'm
you
just
all
thinking
can
back
always
to like
meet
the
as long
holidays.
as you want, there
and
is
then- No, like the holidays in November we didn't have November. And then so you're talking about like a long time since we've discussed this. So if I put together an email and then maybe like the idea was to come with like, hey, this is what our ideas are so that we can turn around and go back to the bond. But we didn't have those meetings in November, December anyway, so there's a lot of things.
Yes. The last one is February meeting ideas. None of these should be a big shocker. Is anyone opposed to any of these? It sounds like just continuous
Sounds right.
strat plan.
Unopposed.
I'm
You can sit home and oppose it. Silent protest.
All right, Pat, up to you to convene and adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. Good work.
Thank you.
Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
Bye, everyone.
You were like, I
See you
actually
Monday,
do
Nora.
have something.
Were you,